Hello, my name is Cynthia, and welcome to my channel, Graciously Growing. Now, this channel will be about two things that I love, plants and the Word of God. And I hope and pray as you view this channel that it will not only help you grow your plants, but that it will help you grow spiritually as well. So I invite you to come along with me on this journey. Now, today I am going to be doing my very first house plant tour, where I take you around my entire home and show you my entire plant collection. We're going to start in my entryway and then into this room, which is my home office, followed by my kitchen and dining room area, and then my living room area. I am then going to take you upstairs to a small plant nook that I have, as well as my master bedroom. But again, welcome to my channel, Graciously Growing. So here in my entryway, I have two dracaenas on either side of this entryway table and a ZZ on top. Now this first dracaena is just a typical green version. I was a little concerned about both of these dracaenas being placed here in my entryway due to the lack of lighting, because the only lighting this particular dracaena gets is from here, my front door. However, it's been placed here for a couple of months and it seems to be doing great. It's not dropping leaves. It doesn't have brown tips. And so I think, yeah, it is quite happy here in my entryway. And then here on top is my ZZ plant. I have 3 in total. This is the first one. It was in a different location, but I don't believe it was getting enough lighting because this last stem has no leaves on the bottom, as you can see. And so I decided to move it here. And it seems to be doing well. And then this dracaena on the opposite side of the entry table is completely different. As you can see, I chose it because of this coloring. It has like these hues of green, and I would say rose-ish, pink, purplish color. And I just love how it looks in my entryway. Now, as for lighting, the only lighting that this particular dracaena gets is the lighting that comes from this bathroom window here where a bamboo plant is hanging out. But again, it seems to be doing quite well. And so yeah, these are the only 3 plants that are located as of right now in my entryway. So here in my office, we're going to start with these 3 plants that I have hanging from the window here, or hanging in the window here. The first plant is my Ficus polymia. It's variegated, and as you can see, I love how the leaves are just this green in the center, surrounded by the white on the outside of each and every leaf. And it is just quite a beautiful plant. And then right by it is an ivy that I'll also take down so that you can really see. And it was a Mother's Day gift, as well as the other plant that I just showed you, the Ficus Pomea. This ivy was a Mother's Day gift for my sons, and it is just really beautiful, and I just love the way that it is cascading down already. And so it seems to be quite happy in this office. Then the last hanging plant, I think you can see it quite well without me taking it down, is what is called a lipstick plant. Now this plant was originally located in my living room area, and it did not like it. It dropped quite a bit of leaves, and so I have relocated it here to my office, and so far it seems to be doing better. It has not dropped any more leaves and is now growing. And so yeah, I don't believe that it liked the humidity in my living room area, and so it's doing quite well here. Now, in the windowsill, I have 5 plants. First up is this fern, and it has just been growing and growing since I purchased it. If you can see, if you look down, you see those 3 little nodes? That's where the new leaves come from. As a matter of fact, you can see one right here. So though, yeah, it just comes up in the center, and then they grow out, and yeah, I just really love this fern. Right by it is one of my mini algonemas, Pink Aurora. And what I like about this plant is that the outlining of the pink on each and every leaf, I think it's just really pretty. And the pedestals are also pink. And so it's a really pretty plant. Now right by that is my Transcadia that's trailing all the way down. This plant is just beautiful, that purplish color. I recently, about a week ago actually, had to repot this plant because it had outgrown its other container, and I was really concerned about breaking it while I was trying to replant it because it's quite fragile. But I was able to repot it without breaking any of the stems, and it's doing great. Now right by the Transcadia is a Peperonia Leapfrog, and yeah, it is not doing the best. I don't have the best luck with peperonias, and so I am trying to learn how to care for them properly and what they like and what they don't like. I did relocate this from another location in my home as well, and so we will see. And then right by it is a rubber plant that, as you can see, lost all of its leaves on the bottom half, but I did watch a video on how to encourage leaves to regrow on the bottom of the stems. And so if that works out, I will, do a video on how that happened and what to do if you have the same type of problem. Then in the corner is another Mother's Day gift. This is my rubber plant, and she is beautiful. Look at her coloring. I just love the different hues of green, and then some of her leaves are this yellowish color, and it's just really a beautiful plant. And she hangs out here in my corner of my office. When I first got her, I put a grow light on her and she didn't like it, and one of her leaves started browning. thank God I recognized what the problem was and took the grow light off. I was concerned that she wasn't getting enough light, and that was the reason why I put a grow light on her, but now I have just one grow light in here. So this is just a regular lamp, but I took out the bulb and put in a grow light, got it from Amazon, and it provides artificial sunlight for these plants. I keep it on maybe 4 hours a day. And if I wasn't filming, obviously I would have the blinds open, and that seems to keep these plants quite happy. Now here on the floor, I have 3 calatheas. Now, all of my calatheas, and I have quite a few others, let's see, about 3 others that I'm going to show you that also are located here in the office. And all of these calatheas were originally located somewhere else in my home, but what I found about calatheas, especially the ones that I have, they love humidity. And so this office tends to be a little warmer than the remainder portion of my home. And so after doing some research on calatheas, I said, I think they would be more happier in here. And so far, so good. So the first calathea that we're gonna look at is called a Stella. And what I like about this one is just the leaves, how they are green and white, and then the back of them have this purplish tinge to it. Yeah, and so this is my newest collection, and she seems to be doing okay. And then right by her is a Calathea orphobia. Now, I can tell that she's doing much better since she's been relocated, because these 2 leaves here are new. And they're getting bigger and bigger by the day. And so I think she is happy in her new location. And then we have the Calathea rosepica. And she is beautiful as well, with her green and purplish, even sometimes like a dark blackish color of her leaves. And she hangs out here in the office as well. Now, I only have 1 plant on my desk, and this is a begonia, and this is a begonia modellata pink spot. And as you can tell, she has pink spots on her leaves. Yeah, and she hangs out here on the end of my desk, and she seems to be quite happy there. Then on the bottom, here we have another Calathea, and this is a Calathea musica, and she also has been doing much better since I moved her in here. This is a new leaf. You can see how shiny it is, and this one is new too. And so since I moved her here into my office, she has rewarded me with 2 new leaves. So yeah, this is her new home. Up here on the fireplace, I have 4 plants. I have a Dracaena, and she's always been here in my office hanging out with me, and she just continues to grow, and she's doing really good right here. I think her proper name is a Dracaena marginata braid. And then we have kind of like behind her a Stronami. I'm struggling with this plant. She's not dying, but she's not growing. I did have her also in another location, so I'm trying her out in here to see if I can get her to produce new leaves, and we'll see, you know, how she does. And then on the other side of her is a Calathea as well. This is called a rattlesnake Calathea. And again, I've been struggling with caring for her, and so I moved her here. Hopefully she will like it here, and will produce more leaves. But you can kind of tell why they call her a rattlesnake Calathea, due to how her leaves are spotted. And then we have Zansamoni lindonale. right here. She's always hung out here in my office as well. And she's just striking with her, I think it looks like a zebra, the way her leaves look. And she's been producing quite a few new leaves, and they get quite big. And so, yeah. And then the last plant here in my office is one of my 3-piece lilies, and she's quite happy here. I'm hoping that she will bloom this year, and that will let me know that she is actually very happy. She is pushing out new leaves. This leaf right here is new, and there's quite a few others in there as well. So yeah, this is the plants that are in my office area. Okay guys, for the kitchen and dining room area, we are going to start in my kitchen window where I have 3 plants. Here is what's called a coffee plant. And when I first purchased her, she was a little thing, and she continues to get taller and taller. And I continue to have to move up the blinds because of the way she's growing. I did look up because I wanted to know whether she was a plant that could actually produce coffee beans. And the answer is yes. If you know the proper environment to put her in, she will produce coffee beans. So she is truly a coffee plant, or you can just have her like I do as a house plant. And she has the biggest, beautiful green leaves. Then and next to her is my begonia rex, and look at the vibrant color. She has continued to grow. She had to be repotted from her nursery pot, and so she's quite happy in this window. She's very thirsty. These 2 plants, the begonia rex and the coffee plant, are 2 of the plants that I must water every 2 to 3 days. Whereas this plant here, which is a snake plant, or otherwise known as a Sanvera, does not care for a lot of water. I did kill the first plant that I had like this because I did not understand that they don't need a lot of water. But she is doing well, and in the last 30 days, she has produced a new, what would you call this, sprout here. This is completely new, and yeah, and look at it, it has this nice design. And so yeah, and she's getting taller and taller, and she, as well as this coffee plant, may have to be relocated eventually. But yeah, these are the 3 plants that hang out here in my kitchen windowsill. Now, here on the end of my counter is the beginning of the next couple plants you're gonna see are just my favorite types of plants, and they are called aglaonemas, and there's different varieties. I don't know how many, but from my research, there's just a lot. And so this is a pink aurora. This is the same plant that is located in my office windowsill, and as you remember, she has the pink that surrounds her leaves and the pink that goes across through the middle. but this is a pink aurora, a bigger version of her, and she is a beauty. So yeah, and look, she is happy. Here's another leaf that's coming in right there. And there's another one right there. Okay, and then right behind her or beside her is a Agonema Silver Splash. I don't know how it's looking on the camera, but in real life, this is like a silvery type of color, and that is why she's called the Agonema Silver Splash, and she is happy as well. Look, here is a new leaf that is unfurling. Here is another one, and so yeah, she's quite happy. And down here is another type of Agonema. This is a Agonema cutlass. And as you can see, her leaf is completely different. The way they look as the other two Agonemas that I've shown you. But again, she's a beauty nonetheless. She is blooming. So this is how her blooms look. So yeah, she is quite happy here on the corner on the floor. And then up top is what is called a Philodendron Brazil. Look at that leaf. And they each usually have this vibrant green going down the middle of their leaves. And it is called a Philodendron Brazil. And she hangs out there, and she's doing quite well. Now, the majority of my plants are housed on these 3 shelves. The 2 small shelves on either side I purchased from Amazon, and this bigger shelf here in the middle I purchased from OfferUp. So on this first small shelf is another Agonema, and she is called a Golden Madonna, and she is a beauty as well, and she has a new leaf coming in. Yeah, and she is happy. One thing I like about this particular Agonema is most of my Agonemas were resting, you would say, from the fall and the winter. They kind of like are hibernating, and they're not pushing out new leaves, but she pushed out new leaves all year round, and she is just a beauty. Now, right below her is what's called a painted lady, and my understanding is that she's a climber, which means I need to put her on a moss pole. That's going to be an experience because I've never done that, and I'm going to do a little bit more research. And then, of course, she's going to have to be moved because she will grow up instead of out. So yeah, that's my painted lady. And then right below her is another Raven ZZ. This is different than the one in my entryway because when they first come out, they are this greenish color, but as they mature, they turn into almost a black chocolate color. And so, yeah, she's quite gorgeous. This is actually another rack, but I taped it up to give her room to grow. So if you're looking for racks, Amazon has quite a few, but I like this one because you can manipulate it to house, smaller plants or raise one up to have a taller plant like I've done here with this Raven ZZ. Now here on the top is my Monstera Peru and my Cirrus Satin Pothos. So let's take a closer look at these two. Look at the leaf. Can you see? Well, of course you can't feel, but if you could feel the texture of this leaf and how big and green and vibrant they are. And she is just quite happy up here, and she's actually wrapping herself around this shelf. So yeah. And then right across from her, like I said, is my silver satin pothos. Look at those leaves. Okay. Just beautiful. And she also said she will not be outdone, so she is also wrapping herself around the shelf. So yeah, that they are quite happy up there. This, in case you're wondering, is a grow light. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, and they can be set on timers for 6 or 8 hours. I live, if I haven't said it before, I live in the Pacific Northwest, and I have to give a lot of my plants artificial sunlight, and so they're set on a timer, and they come on at the same time every day to give these plants additional light so that they can be happy and healthy. So that's what they are. I'm going to move them out of the way for right now so that you can see what's on the next rack. So here is another Philodendron Brazil. She's just like her mother up here, but just a smaller version. And yeah, she is doing great. And right across from her is what's called a creeping inch plant. And she is definitely creeping down and cascading down. This was given to me by a friend, and I just love her. And then on the third rack is 2 more Aglaonemas. So let me introduce you to the Aglaonema White Dalmatian and the Aglaonema Pink Dalmatian. And as you can tell, the White Dalmatian has all of these little white spots, therefore is how it gets its name. And it hangs out here on the 3rd shelf. And then right along with it is my Pink Dalmatian, and she's getting a new leaf. Yeah, she's quite happy. Oh, and she's blooming. Look at that. So yeah, that is what's on the 3rd shelf. And then right below is what is called a Maranta. This is also called a prayer plant because in the evening, her leaves raise completely up as if she is praying to God. And then in the evening time, they come back down. It is really beautiful. I plan on putting on my channel a time lapse where we can watch it as she goes up and comes back down. I think that would just be awesome. And she has 2 new leaves coming in. Now, on this 3rd shelf is my ponytail palm. Now, I must confess, I was supposed to be shopping that day, and I was in my local Safeway, but I saw they had a plant area, and I went over there and I saw her, this ponytail palm. And I was concerned about purchasing her because she looks like she can be a drama queen. But she actually has been doing great. She's been in my care for about 6 months and no problems whatsoever. I do use a water meter for all of my plants to really tell me when the soil is dry and they need water. And so that's what I've been doing. And she, along with my snake plant that I showed you a little earlier, does not like a lot of water. I maybe water them maybe once a month, like I said, and she's quite happy. And down below her is a Monstera Ansonii. And you know, from the looks of her, you'll say something chewing on her leaves. Absolutely not. This is just how she grows. Isn't God's creation great? So she has these little slits in her leaves. And yeah, and she's hanging out right there. And right across from her is a Raven ZZ. This is the same ZZ that is in my Entryway but she's obviously full and quite happy. Like I said, I had to move the one from the previous location I had at the one that's in the entryway, and I'm not trying to get her to be as full as this one. Now, as her leaves come in, they are this light green color, but as they mature, it turns into this darker color. So yeah, and she's hanging out here, and I have lifted up one of the racks in order to let her grow more. So yeah, and then right next to her is a rubber plant, and look, she is quite happy. Look at those new leaves coming in, 3, and so she's just hanging out right there. Before we get to this massive spider plant, I want to introduce you to my philodendron cordium that's hanging in the corner. And if you see that little white thing up there, that is another grow light that's on a timer. Gotta keep my plants happy. And she's cascading all the way down. So yeah. And right across from her is my new love, a Hoya. I only have so far, let's see, 4 in my collection, but I have discovered Hoyas and I love them. This is a Hoya publica. Oh, and by the way, if you see these little tabs in my plants, I got them from Amazon, and it is a great way to identify your plants. And you know, you can also put on there like how often they need to be watered or what type of lighting they need. I got 100 for under $10, so yeah. But this is a Hoya publica, and what I found out about these type of Hoyas is do not cut off these vines, or maybe if you want to call them sticks, because that's where the leaves come from. So they come out bare and then the leaves grow afterwards. Isn't that amazing? But yeah, so that is my Hoya. Okay, and so then we have the spider plant, and she's here in the corner, and she is massive. She was a tiny little thing when I first got her, but she has grown and she has a lot of spider babies. These are what we call spider babies. You can actually cut one of these off and then put it in water or dirt, and it will grow. And I will show you that because I have quite a few that I have done that to. And she just hangs out here in the corner. Underneath her is my one and only Anthurium. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not sure if I care for this plant. She bloomed and she has not bloomed since. And so she may need a little bit more sunlight or something, but right now she's just hanging out here. And then hanging from the dining room curtain rods are 2 other Hoyas that I want to introduce you to. This is a Hoya microphobia, and again, do not cut off the stems because that's where the new leaves grow from. And then right across from her is a Hoya Crimson Queen. Yeah, and she is just gorgeous. So I'm gonna get down and then show you what I have in my dining room windowsill. So here is a pothos. I have quite a few pothos. This is what we called a golden pothos, and she is cascading down. And then right across from her is a philodendron cordium. She is a baby from the mother plant here. She, I believe, is my first, what do you call it, propagation, where I took her from her mother plant, chopped her from her mother plant, put it in soil, and I promise you for the first couple of months, it just looked like nothing was happening. And then one day she started pushing out new leaves. So yeah, my first successful propagation. And then here we have a pothos bell speckled gray, and she's cascading down as well, as you can see. Then right across from her is what is called a pothos lemon lime. And look at the beautiful coloring. And she's happy. She has quite a few new leaves coming out. And then here's another successful propagation from the mother spider plant. Here's one of her babies that I cut, and she's growing. And then right by her is another form of a Sansevieria, another type of snake plant, and she's quite happy. And then here by my sliding door is another type of peace lily. This is a Splantium damamino. I'm not very good at those names, but she's a variegated lily. She's a form of a peace lily, and she hangs there. And then right up here is my pothos pearl jade, and she is cascading down. Yeah. So yeah, you guys, that is all of my plants that are located in my kitchen and dining room area. Guys, we're going to start with the plants that are hanging in the living room by the window. First of all, we have another pothos silver splash, just the same as the one that I showed you earlier that's on my main shelf. This is just a smaller cutting, but still the same beautiful leaves. And it is hanging along with my philodendron micin, which is so beautiful with its green and purple leaves. And it is cascading all the way down. So yeah, those are the two plants that are hanging in my living room area. And then in the living room windowsill, I have two plants on either side. Here is a syngonium, and she's fairly new, but it seems to be quite happy living here in the windowsill. And then on the other side of the living room windowsill, I have a marble peperonia. And like I said earlier, I don't do very well with peperonias, but so far so good. She seems to be happy as well. And then here is my bird of paradise. I just love this plant and how massive she is growing. I was a little concerned about purchasing her because I wasn't sure if my home would fit her needs, but so far so good. Look here, we have a new leaf coming out, and then we have another one coming out right here. And this big leaf here is her newest one, and it's still unfurling. And so yeah, she hangs out right here in the corner. From my research, a bird of paradise needs quite a bit of lighting. They do bloom. I've been told it's very hard to get them to bloom, but we will see. But she is beautiful as is. And then we have my huge peace lily, and she continues to grow and grow. I have repotted her several times, and each time she just gets bigger. I am not going to, well, I'm going to do my best not to repot her unless her health starts declining, because I don't need her to get any bigger. She is just really taking up this area. She has a couple of new leaves here. And this one as well is new, as well as this one. So yeah, this is my huge peace lily. The only lighting that she receives is from this window here from the front door, which seems to be just enough for her. And then I have another Hoya publica hanging out here on this table. She's on a trellis, and she came with this trellis, so I can't take any credit for this, but she is absolutely gorgeous and doing well. And look, guys, look at that, and look at that. 2 new areas for 2 new plants. Now, I got these planters from, of all places, Ross, and what I love about them, they were not pricey at all. They were $9.99, and they have this covering here so that when you water your plants, you won't have to worry about damaging your flooring. So yeah, that is what is currently in my living room area. Okay, you guys, this is what I call my plant nook. As you come up my stairs, there's just this little area, and I was wondering, what can I put here? And you guessed it, plants. Now on the banister, these 4 plants are actually turned the opposite way, but for this video, I have turned them around because really when you come through my front door and you look up, they are cascading down, and because they are growing towards these 3 windows where they're getting the light. But here is a syngonium, just like the baby syngonium in my dining room window, but this is a bigger version. And like I said, she is gently turned the opposite way because she's growing towards the light. And then here is my massive rubber plant. And she is also usually turned the other way. And her name is a philodendron. I'm sorry, this is not a rubber plant. This is a philodendron red diamond. That is her name. And like I said, she's usually turned the other way, and she's cascading over the banister. It's a really pretty look. And then I have a marginata braid, like the one that's in my office. But she has, actually not like the one in my office, but the one that's in my entryway. She's just a smaller version. You can see if you get up close that she does have a little bit of that coloring as well. And then this plant here, you guys comment, tell me in the comment section, what is this plant? This is one of my very first plants. And when I first started, I didn't know that you really need to know what type of plant it is so that you can find out, what type of soil should it be planted in, what type of lighting should it have, what type of watering needs does it have, the humidity, the temperature, all of those things you need to know before you purchase a plant to see if it would be happy and healthy in your home. But I didn't know all of that, and so I purchased this plant, and I have no idea what it is. If I had to take a guess, I think it's either a Disembogia. As a matter of fact, I think it might be a Disembogia, but you guys let me know. But whatever it is, she's healthy. Look, and she has quite a few leaves coming in. But again, she's usually turned the other way. And I just wanted you to see them for this video. Now, on the floor level is my Monstera. It's actually 2 plants. My friend gave me a cutting, and then I bought one off of OfferUp. And as you can see, this is a new leaf that hasn't hardened up yet. It will eventually look like that, but it's still a baby, so she's still pushing out new leaves. She's quite happy. And here is another rubber plant, just like the one that's in my dining room area. And then I have my lemon lime Dracaena, and she is a beauty. Now this is a regular lamp right here, but I put a grow light in it. Oh, that's bright. And so for the plants that are on the floor, I turn this on for a couple hours in the evening because they cannot get the light from these 3 windows because of where they're placed. And so far, so good. They seem to be happy. But yeah, here's my little plant nook, you guys. Okay guys, here is my last area where I have plants in my master bedroom. And we're going to start here right underneath my windowsill. I have 3 plants, and the first one is a peace lily. It's similar to the one that's downstairs in the dining room area. It is a platinum, but it does not have variegation. As you can see, it is just green leaves. It doesn't have the speckles of white in it. It's been blooming. This bloom is almost spent and needs to be cut. And then it has 2 other blooms going on right now. And then right across from it is another Dracaena lemon lime. This is the smaller version. You saw the big one in my plant nook, and here's a smaller version of that very same plant. And like I said, I just love the coloring of these leaves. And then right next to it is a Disembogia, and its leaves are absolutely gorgeous as well. So also on my dresser, I have what is called a Philodendron Brantium. I've been having a little bit of trouble with this plant. It is trailing up this moss pole. I purchased it this way, but one of the problems is this moss pole is hard to keep moist. I did speak with a nursery specialist, and he indicated that this is the wrong type of moss pole and that I really need to take it down and put it on a different type of pole that remains moist. And so I will be doing that in the near future, but it still has some beautiful leaves. And then last but not least is my parlor palm that is here hanging out on the side of my bed. I got her from Lowe's. She was half off because she was dying, because she needed to be repotted, and they were not going to do that, and so they had her half off. I brought her home, pruned back her damaged leaves, and she has been doing well. Now, I do have grow lights that I put on her a couple hours a day, just like the other lamps. These are just regular lamps where I put grow lights in. You can get grow lights from Amazon and unscrew your regular bulbs and put them in if your plants need additional sunlight or artificial sunlight, because this window right here, even with the blinds open, the light doesn't quite make it over here to where this beautiful palm is. But she is a beauty and she is doing well. Okay, guys, that is the end of my houseplant tour. Okay, guys, that concludes my very first houseplant tour. I hope you enjoyed it. Down in the comment section, tell me, what was your favorite plant? What do you think about calatheas? Do you find them hard to care for? But until my next video, I pray that as you grow your plants, that you grow in the spirit as well. Again, welcome to my channel, Graciously Growing.